What is up, ladies and gentlemen? It's Mr. Mooman11 here, bringing you an updated attack damage Udyr Jungle guide. If you haven't seen the first one, it's chock full of great information and wonderful puns. That guide also works best if your team is on the blue team, the one starting on the bottom left of the minimap. This is an updated guide for starting on the red or purple team, the one in the top right. Now, I play Udyr a lot, and if you learn to play him well, you can carry your team to victory every game. Well, let's get this guide started with the runes and masteries I run. The way we're gonna build him, Udyr can melt enemies faster than a popsicle at a Katy Perry concert. That's why I take plus 12 flat attack damage along with 5.7 attack speed. I've also got tier 3 lifesteal coins for increased sustainability. For the updated masteries, we'll be running 18 points in cunning for the burst damage movement speed ultimate, and 12 points in ferocity to further increase our damage output. Since Udyr is a jungler with no gap close, I take flash and smite for my summoner spells. Once the game starts, you're going to need a hunter's machete, 2 health pots, and a vision trinket. Next, level up your tiger stance and head over to Grom, because everyone knows a tiger's mortal enemy is a giant mythical frog, right? Ask your bot lane for a leash, and if they're kinky and into that stuff, they'll most likely be happy to help. An important note is Concert F, and more relevant thing to keep in mind is to not smite this giant frogger. Let your bot laners deal as much damage as possible, then finish it off with some basic attacks. Upgrade your W next and start attacking blue buff and tiger stance, then quickly switch to your turtle stance. A quick turtle, that's an oxymoron. That way you can take advantage of your increased attack speed as well as a shield and some lifesteal. Feel free to smite blue buff now, just do not use your pots or the cops will arrest you for possession, unless you live in a state like Colorado where that's legal. Just kidding, just don't use your health pots at all. Udyr's turtle stance is all you need to regain health while in your jungle. There's a furry convention in town, so head over there and put an end to their strange love for bestiality. Again, start in tiger stance and switch over to turtle stance as soon as possible. You don't want these furries getting attracted to you while in your tiger stance. Once you kill the big wolf, only use your W on the smaller ones. Normally you'd want to level up your E next, but I've got something more exciting planned. So for now, put another point into either your tiger stance or your turtle stance. At this point, you should be back at full health and mana, so we're gonna head to the river and say hi to our friend Scuttle. While you're beating him up, put your vision trinket in this bush. That way you'll be able to see any junglers or mid laners approaching you while you get ready to take on the dragon. And yes, it is called the dragon, not Drake. Not once has Dragon called me on my cell phone, nor have I ever seen him walking through the 6 with his woes. Now once you've taken a few hits from Dragon, take a hit from your pot, because Dragon will have already dealt more than 420 damage. Keep switching between tiger and turtle stance as soon as they come up. Since Dragon keeps blazing you with his fire breath, use your other pot as well. And you know what? Forget about Drake. This is Snoop Dogg from now on. So just smite the D-O-double-G and book it like a librarian back over to Pepe the Frog. Give this Gromp the love and attention it so wants and needs, then kill it like George did to Lenny in Of Mice and Men. Wasn't middle school English such a fun time? Now that we've satisfied your sadistic urge to murder that helpless frog as well as your terrifying desire to slay and desecrate the dragon's sacred place, let's upgrade your machete into a stalker's blade so you can continue your savage quest for more bloodlust, you barbaric abomination. And don't forget to pick up some steel-tipped combat boots so you can wreck more lives quicker. Why not try out your new fearsome items on the wolf camp that conveniently just spawned for your unnatural killing pleasure, you vile, repugnant, feral beast? Oh, I'm getting word now from my producer that calling my audience degrading and dehumanizing names decreases viewership, and I should stop now before they replace me. Oh, okay, let's try out a new approach. Alright, my happy, cheery human beings who are definitely not filthy, degenerate, complete human garbage whose lives are a meaningless blip on a timeline of eternity, suffering on a speck of dust floating through a vast void of nothingness until one day they too will return to a state of absolute nothingness and who.
Hi guys, I'm Mrs. Mooman11, and yes, I'm a grill gamer. So, now that we've leveled up your E, you're gonna have to turn those chickens into chicken pot pie. What? Okay, head on over to Clifford the Big Red Buff. What? No, I'm done. I'm out.
Told you no one else can handle this level of puns. I'm back. Looks like you guys are stuck with me and my punderful puns. I guess we're back to square pun now. Anyway, back to the gameplay. Once you kill Clifford the Big Red Buff, call up your local rooms to go and see if they have any Persian rugs in stock. They'll tell you they're out, but you can check out their extensive Persian Krew collection. That was a bit of a stretch. Keep checking on your top lane to see if the enemy champ is pushed up too far. If he is, save your smite for the upcoming fight. Start making your way to the top lane by ganking through the George Bush into the river. Once you're close to the fight, initiate with your bear stance for the movement speed increase and on-hit stun. Quick reminder that it's a good idea to keep a healthy dietary regimen with plenty of meats and veggies like broccoli and cauliflower. So this game, we're adding some kale to your diet. At this time, adopt a more liberal point of view and try not to tax the lane too much. Journey back down the river like a modern day Huckleberry Finn just without all the racially insensitive slurs until you find your friend Scuttle. Go ahead and beat him up cause Scuttle wins games. Next, you can either recall in the bush or head mid lane if they're in need of some help. It looks like Zed's fate is sealed, but it's not too late to get yourself another kill. You've got a few cards up your sleeve yourself, so initiate with a flash, smite that enemy champ, stun him, then finish him off with your tiger stance. Looks like living just wasn't in the cards for him. Now that you've got plenty of dough, head back to Papa John's for some premium toppings. I'd say a large pepperoni with extra devour should get your night off to a pretty good start. Unfortunately for you, you're really hungry, so that pizza just wasn't enough. Go grab yourself some tasty frog legs and hop on over to Blue Buff. Keep checking your minimap during the fight to determine where you'll head off to next. Since Scuttle's up, we're gonna pay him a quick visit to chat about his feelings and how his wife Sandra and his 2 kids are doing. Note that with the most recent update, Scuttle's new neighbor, the Rift Herald, or Mega Scuttle as I call him, will be available to kill. However, it is definitely a 2-person job, which reminds me, how many Bronze 5 players does it take to screw in a light bulb? The whole team, cause they'll definitely find a way to screw it up. Since we're already in the rectal leakage area of the map, or bottom river as it's more commonly referred to as, let's wait for Snoop Dogg to spawn back in so we can take him out with blunt force. Blunt. Head on back into your jungle to continue your quest for the Holy Grail. Continue your quest to get sated. Inflict but a scratch on Gromp. Give the wolves a flesh wound, and travel faster than an unladen South African swallow over to their close relatives, the chickens. Your goal is to reach 30 stacks on your Devourer by 19 or so minutes. And remember that not only the large jungle monsters count towards your stacks. Kills on enemy champions also count for 1 stack, killing Scuttle counts for 2, and Dragon and Mega Scuttle count for 5. Now that you've cleared your jungle a second time and helped out your top laner again, either upgrade your boots to Boots of Swiftness or start building a Blade of the Ruin King if you have enough to buy a Bilgewater Cutlass. Repeat your initial jungle path by starting at Star Fox's annoying friend Slippy the Toad. As usual, Slippy calls out for your help and you have to save him to complete the mission.
Help me!
Only 90s kids will remember. Just kidding, give in to your primal rage and finally put an end to Slippy's annoying cries for help. How did he even pass fighter pilot training anyway? Oh well, now that you're pretty fed, let the enemy team know who's bots with some good-natured BM. Work on getting sated and stay aware of which lanes need some help. As always, ping to let your team know you're coming, but instantly forget about doing that because Scuttle wins games. When you're finally ready to help, use your squishy teammates as bait, then reel in a big one. Gather your team to take the dragon together when several enemies show up. Make sure you don't start the dragon until your smite is available, or else you'll look pretty silly, like when you show up to your book club meeting late and you miss the most sensual love scene for this month's award-winning novel and movie adaptation of 50 Shades of Grey. Now that you're sated, you should focus more on split-pushing lanes or picking off enemy stragglers rather than farming mostly in the jungle. When preparing for team fights, your position is to be closer to the back until one of your tanks initiates. Then you surge forward like a mob of preteen schoolgirls at a One Direction concert and completely destroy the enemy team. As the game draws on, you'll just continue to get more and more fed. Pretty soon you'll be known as Frosty the Snowman because of how crazy powerful you're snowballing. Buy a Blade of the Ruin King and start working towards an Infinity Edge, and 1v1s won't be a problem for you. But your teammates will still want to take your kills for themselves, and hey, that's okay. It feels good to give to the less fortunate. Keep focusing those objectives and try to deny the enemy team as much as possible, and make sure to thank the enemy jungler for leashing dragons so well for you. Start working towards the Phantom Dancer and just keep farming and pushing. Your final build should usually include a Bloodthirster, but for this game I went with a Mercurial Scepter in case Warwick was feeling a bit naughty and wanted to ult me. I would just be able to break free and kill him. As you continue to utterly cow joke, demoralize the enemy team by taking Baron, you'll either push their Nexus for a win or they'll speed up the process and surrender for you. Anytime you play this champ, you'll say, "Looky here, it's a win for Udyr." Well, there you go. There's your updated AD Udyr guide.